welcome back to Tech Talk with O. I wanted to talk about the Pixel 6 series and how it held up, but also how this is the most crucial phone in Google Pixel history. Let's get started. To understand why the Pixel 6 series was so crucial for Google, we actually got to understand how it all started. It began in 2016 with the Pixel and the Pixel XL. They were amazing phones with a lot of promise and amazing cameras. Finally, a Google phone made by Google. Had everything we loved about the Nexus phones before it, like no carrier apps, no bloatware, just a streamlined, pure Android experience with amazing cameras. This time, made by Google. So right off the bat, Google Pixel felt like a very premium phone that can actually compete with the big players Samsung and Apple in every single way. Next, in 2017, the Pixel 2 launched with the Pixel 2 and the Pixel 2 XL with even better cameras, further separating themselves from the competition, and just better software and great experience overall yet again. Improving their sales from 2 million the Pixel 1 sold to now 4 million for the Pixel 2. In 2018 though, the smartphone market started shifting. HTC and LG were fighting for their lives. Apple and Samsung were making radical design changes, and a flagship killer that didn't sell was on the rise. Pixel 3 and 3 XL arrived with the same camera as the Pixel 2, minor improvements, and a huge notch. Pixel 3 hardware barely nudged, using the same cameras as the Pixel 2, yet Google software still made the photos look amazing. Pixel 3 still did well, and Google wanted to capitalize off that success, and they introduced for the first time the Pixel A series, $399 for the Pixel 3a, and $479 for the Pixel 3a XL. So with the first three Pixels being a success, and now the introduction of a budget lineup, the A series, being successful, everything was looking promising. They were still only selling a fraction of what Samsung and Apple were doing, but the growth was there. Until this happened. The Pixel 4. Pixel's first major design change, and they looked gorgeous. Along with a 90Hz refresh rate, which still wasn't common at the time, the phones were super snappy, felt really good in the hand, plus they had accented power buttons, which every phone should have, and they were super clicky and felt great. They took off that thick notch and replaced it with thick bezels, which was outdated at the time, but still looked good, and it was still an upgrade. And yet again, Google used that same main camera from the Pixel 2, and then finally, like we all begged them to do, they added a second camera. They used the one that no one asked for though, a 2x telephoto lens. So for those of you who need an explanation why that's so stupid, if you take out your phone, it's automatically at 1x. A 2x telephoto lens, all it does is zoom in enough to where you just can use your phone and reach out a little bit further. That's it. And you'll be using the main camera, which is a better camera overall. So you'll be taking a better quality image by stretching out your arm or taking a step forward. What everybody was hoping for was an ultra wide lens, which would allow you to capture more inside the photo, and every premium phone had it at the time, and a lot of budget phones had it at the time. And using a 3-year-old sensor, their photos were still amazing actually. Yeah, Google software continued to update their image processing, and the photos looked amazing, but this time the competitors caught up, and some even beating Google, so the camera and the photo quality wasn't much of a selling point this time. Then they also had that 90Hz display that was snappy, smooth, fast, killing their battery, so it was known to have very bad battery life. And the reason for those outdated bezels was for some gimmicky gesture controls that suck. And at $799, it costs more than almost any other smartphone in its class. So for that price, you're getting a brand new design, but you were getting an underwhelming battery, and you're getting a camera that was no longer ahead of its competitors. So with that being said, it didn't do well in sales, and it got discontinued in less than a year. Now for Pixel 4a, 4a 5G, and the Pixel 5. So Google always announced their Pixel phones at Google I/O, but this one in 2020 was canceled because of the coronavirus. And instead of sending a video presentation or streaming the event like most other companies did, Google just sent out a press release. In the press release, we learned that Pixel 4a was available for pre-order, started at $349, which was even less than the Pixel 3a the year prior. It came in only Pixel 4a, no XL version this time. There's only one color option, one storage option, and it came with a thin bezel, hole punch design instead of a notch or a big bezel. The one storage option was 120 gigabytes, which was twice as much as a Pixel 4 for half the price of the Pixel 4, which is crazy. This is all anybody would have wanted. This would have done good if you just put this out at this price, but anyway, that's what they did. In this press release, they also talked about the Pixel 4a 5G and the Pixel 5, which were coming later that year in the fall. The Pixel 4a was available for pre-order, but the Pixel 4a 5G was going to be released side by side with the Pixel 5 later that year. Okay, so at this point, the Pixel 4 is the only thought that Google had, and us Pixel fans were still hoping that Google would attempt another flagship phone with the Pixel 5. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. A little over a month later, the Pixel 4a 5G was released side by side with the Pixel 5. No XL version this time. Pixel 5 was the smaller of the two phones. Both came with only one storage option, which was the 128GB version, which was nice. Both came with the exact same camera setup, which was the main camera from the Pixel 2 again, and this time instead of the telephoto lens, they had an ultra-wide lens. Thank God. The Pixel 4a 5G was $500 and the Pixel 5 was $700. For the additional $200, you'll get a smaller screen, you'll get 8GB RAM instead of the 6GB that came with the 4a and the 4a 5G, and you'll get a 90Hz refresh rate, with the Pixel 5 basically competing against the 4a and the 4a 5G and losing. The Pixel 5 was discontinued early and this time selling less than 2 million units. And next up in the Pixel lineup was the Pixel 5a, which no one gave a damn about, not even Google. It was only released in Japan and in the US. It was almost exactly like the Pixel 4a 5G in every single way. Identical same camera setup, the identical same processor, the identical same RAM, the identical same storage. It was $50 less than the Pixel 4a 5G, but again, it was basically a year later. It flopped because again, no one cared, not even Google. So at this point, everyone knew Google was making their own processor to put in their future phones, starting with the Pixel 6 series, and this processor is called the Tensor chip, but no one cared. Making your own processor, your phones are supposed to work better with your software. That wasn't the issue. The hardware wasn't even the issue. It was just Google kept shooting themselves in the foot one way or another with another failed attempt, this time even in their A series. Everyone thought that Google is done selling smartphones. Who cares if they make another Pixel with their own processor? What's that going to do? I know I wasn't going to care. I wasn't going to buy one. A lot of people were talking about how they're only a software company, and they make damn good software. They don't want to deal with hardware. They don't want to be a hardware company. They don't want to deal with logistics, warehousing, warranty, returns, customer service centers, any of that. When the Pixel 6 comes out, no one's going to buy it, and no one's going to care. That's Pixel's last stand, and then they'll be done making smartphones forever. But the Pixel story didn't end there. There's no such thing as failure in life. Only steps to success. With every step you take, you progress closer to your goal. It's a journey, and along the way, you might trip, you might stumble, you might even fall flat on your face. And that's okay. As long as you get up off the ground, keep grinding, and keep pushing through those obstacles, you can learn from those steps. Instead of falling, you catch yourself. Instead of walking, you run. And if you keep on going and charging towards your goal, you might start making leaps, bounds, or even you might learn to fly. The Pixel story didn't end with the Pixel 5. It actually began with the Pixel 6 series. The Pixel 6 series was Google's redemption arc. And you know what? It was a damn good arc. Starting at $599, that's right, $100 less than the Pixel 5, their mid-range phone, and $200 less than the Pixel 4. This is the story of when Google got it right. And just like we all wanted, Google made a premium phone, the Pixel 6 Pro, starting at $899 with the 120Hz refresh rate, smooth, snappy feel, and we did get a telephoto lens. But this time, it wasn't a 2x, it wasn't a 3x, it was a 4x telephoto lens. Yeah, something useful. Who would have thought? And picture quality, still amazing. Think about it. From Pixel 2 to 5, they were using the exact same camera lens and still had quality images, all because of software. Now, you keep the software and super upgraded cameras. So, amazing cameras for years to come. All this wait for their own Tensor chips, you would think it would come out with super smooth, no hiccups, no issues. But really, when it first came out, there were a lot of bugs and really poor battery life. But with a lot of software updates, the bugs are gone from what I experienced. The battery life is insanely good from what I experienced. It's really, really great phone. It's even better now, years later, than it was when it first came out. And then all that wait for a Tensor chip so they can get better features was well worth the wait. They included many good features and they continue to upgrade those features too. So we got live caption, now playing, call screening, magic eraser, blur background, unblur images, record conversations, and then it separates the conversation between two people, letting you know who spoke at what time. Back tap, which is basically you tap the back of your phone and then you can get it to take a screenshot or open up Google Assistant or something, whatever you want, camera, something. Another thing I really didn't like, max 23 watt charging, that just sucks. The top tier phones, they have 45 watts or more, so it really should have been minimum 30 watts. The in-screen fingerprint scanner is really good. Now, if you're coming from a newer phone, you're gonna say, oh, it's a little, like half a second late, and you'll notice it, but really, it's super fast to where we're just splitting hairs at this point. Another downside is no facial recognition. You're gonna have to use a fingerprint scanner or a pin or a pattern or something, but the year this came out, they should have added it. It was a normal feature by that time. So how'd the Pixel 6 series hold up? Specifically, the Pixel 6 Pro? Well, even for its time, it wasn't a perfect phone. It wasn't even the best phone out of the time. But Google found themselves falling, slipping, stumbling, and caught themselves. Ran with it and built a really, really good phone that still lasts up until this day. And in doing so, they saved the Google Pixel, not only the phone, the earbuds. The watch came out the following year. The tablet came out the following year. The phones that came out in the future after that, from the 8, the 9, the Folds, they really, really redeemed themselves, all because one phone. the Pixel 6 Pro. Like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.